Boys, today we are back, and today I am going to be ranking my favorite Charles Oliveira fights. Now, if you don't know me, and if you haven't seen any of my videos, Charles Oliveira is my favorite fighter by a mile. I don't like anyone else nearly as much as him. I'm one of his biggest fans. I know that for a fact. He is my GOAT. He is the reason why I love this sport. I'm rooting for him in every single fight. I hate all of his opponents when he fights them. And he's my guy. And we are going to slime out Max Holloway and become the BMF champion. Then rematch Arman Tsarukyan, beat him. And then we are going to fight for the title again after Ilya has moved up. And we are going to win the belt, defend twice, and then retire as top 10 best UFC fights ever, top 10 in the GOAT list. That is going to happen. Now, I do want to preface this by saying I started watching in 2020, so I am only going to be going based off his last 10 fights since his Tony Ferguson fight, because that is the first Charles fight I ever watched. So yeah, it's just his last 10 fights from 2020. These are my favorite Charles Oliveira fights, and I'm including losses as well. So let's get it started. First fight is the Tony Ferguson fight. Now, I have this fight in 10th the reason I have this fight in 10th is because I wasn't a fan of Charles yet. Like this is the first pay-per-view I ever watched, actually watched. I'm pretty sure I watched it through someone's screen on TikTok. So I didn't even buy the fight. But this was a great performance. If I had been watching the sport and was a fan and knew what was going on, I was just new into MMA, so I didn't even know how rankings worked or anything. I was so green. So yeah, this is why it's 10th. He had a great performance, though. Dominated Tony Ferguson 30-26. Should have got a first-round submission, but Tony's a tough motherfucker, so he didn't tap. But I pretty much broke Tony Ferguson's arm in the first round. And don't have much to say about this. This is what sparked my my fandom for Charles Oliveira. My love for him. He is my GOAT. I would do anything for the guy. So I have this at 10th just because purely off the fact I just was starting into the UFC. Didn't even know who Charles was yet, but saw this performance and fell in love. So it is in the 10th spot. Moving on. We're not going to spend too much time on this. This was one of the worst days in my entire life. I'm not even capping. I swore on everything I love. This was one of the worst days in my entire life, June 28th. Remember the date. I thought we were going to win the belt back. And shed tears this night. Definitely cried a little bit. Yeah, one of the worst nights of my life. Not sure how Topuria ate that fucking massive elbow. I thought we were going to KO him in 15 seconds. Almost had the heel hook. That it was inches away from happening. I'm just kidding. It was never there. But I'm delusional about this fight. This shit never happened in my mind. I blocked this out. This actually never fucking happened. This was AI. This was the first AI fight in history. There's a little Sora, when you were watching the fight, if you didn't catch it, up in the right-hand corner, there's a little Sora AI thing. So cool for the UFC to do their first little AI fucking fight thing, but this never happened. But no, seriously, I do try to get this out of my mind. I liked about 40 sad Charles edits on TikTok after this. I did cry. I was shocked. I genuinely thought we were gonna go out there and slam Topuria out. Bro, if we only got that trip up against the fence, if we landed on top, oh my God, we would have submitted him. That's the crazy part. Just by Topuria just getting his hips out and getting on top of us after that little throw. That's what really fucked it for us. And in this fight also, when Topuria got too high, when he got the crucifix, he got too high and then Charles went for the leg. I don't know why Charles didn't scramble and try to go for the back, but that's another story. But Charles actually looked really good in this fight, no cap. Obviously his defense isn't the best, I'm a realist, but he actually looked pretty good. So if he had won this fight, this would have been one of the his best performances ever. So, but he lost, and so whatever. Moving on. This was another tough night, October 22nd, 2022. Also shed tears this night. This one hurt a little bit more because I genuinely thought there was no way we were going to lose this. I mean, look at this striking. Look at this absolutely abominable striking. Makhachev did tag us early in the first round, literally in the second exchange. But other than that, I think this was people overrate this performance. Charles actually did really good in this fight. Other than getting taken down, we got back up. We were threatening submissions. We landed a huge up kick. We didn't do too terrible on the feet. It was definitely our worst performance on the feet. Makhachev was winning the striking somehow. Going into this fight, Charles was on the 11-fight win streak. I genuinely thought he was going to slime out Makhachev. And there was no doubt in my mind that he was going to lose. So when he actually did lose, I thought we were going to sub him off our back, genuinely. But Of course, Makhachev, did what he, did, but everyone overrates his performance for Makhachev. Like, it wasn't that good, all right? Like, everybody chilled the fuck out, right? Charles, was doing his thing for a little bit, but everyone was saying he, like, dominated. It was not a domination, bro. It was not a domination. Yes, he won the first 2 rounds, but there was 3 rounds to go in that fight. It was definitely not a domination. We, as an 11-fight win streak, had to go to Abu Dhabi, Makhachev's fucking home base, and fight him, which was bullshit. If this fight was in Brazil, this would have been a completely different outcome. I'm not delusional, but yeah, I mean, this fight sucked watching because he lost. So yeah, this is why it's so low. Moving on. Fuck Makhachev, by the way. Yeah, this is the Sarukian fight. I have this in 7th. And I don't want to put this 7th because we did have a good performance. This was the worst performance on this list. Like, we looked the shittiest in this performance, but in my opinion, we did win rounds 1 and 3. We have a case for winning round 2 as well. Call me biased, but that first round, Arman got saved by the shorts. We had a nasty guillotine. Got saved by the shorts falling off. Mounted him, landed some good elbows. Sarukian reversed us in the first round. And yeah, I don't know what, like, this fight, like, I don't count this as a loss. Like, in my mind, when Charles's record, he only has 2 losses on it since 2018, to the number 1 pound for pound and the number 2 pound for pound. So people saying Charles's wash makes absolutely no sense because his only losses have come to the number 1 pound for pound and the number 2, because in my opinion, he did win this fight. Second round, we did land a huge right hand at the beginning of the round. And then at the end of the second round, we also had a triangle locked in on Sarukian, but the time ran out. And then in the third round, we were winning the exchanges on the feet. He took us down, but then we got a Darce choke at the end. Almost slammed him out at the end. So in my opinion, Charles did win this fight. I think it was bullshit that Sarukian won, and I don't really even like this. This loss hurts more. This loss low-key hurts more than the Topuria and the Makhachev losses, is because this wasn't a definitive loss. Like, in my mind, he didn't win. He didn't lose this fight. Charles didn't lose this fight. In a lot of other people's minds, he didn't lose this fight. So it's hard to, like, this is hard to swallow. This loss is hard to swallow. I don't count it as a loss. He's only lost to the pound for pound 1 and pound for pound 2. So in my opinion, Charles should be on the pound for pound list, and his only 2 losses are to the 2 best guys in the world. So people saying he's washed is just so fucking delusional. And this fight ruined UFC 300 for me. I got hyped at the end of Holloway versus Gaethje, but I was so depressed watching the next 3 fights, like, because Charles lost. So this fight low-key ruined 300 for me. I thought Charles won. And yeah, going into this fight, I remember I was a little nervous. We were coming off the eyebrow cut that made us pull out of 293. So I was a little nervous because I knew Sarukian would try to take us down, but I thought we won the fight, man. I genuinely thought we won. And this fight keeps me up at night. Genuinely, it does. And I was so depressed after this. 300 was ruined for me because this outcome just fucking shattered me. But moving on, we're going to get into with wins now, since I've been a fan. Chandler 2 is in the 6th spot now. People are saying this is, like, not a impressive performance. This was a completely 5-round domination. This was really impressive. People are saying, Patty was able to finish Chandler, but we weren't. We had Chandler almost out of there like fucking 5 times. He did do good. Chandler did do good defense on his back, but rounds 1 through 4, we absolutely dominated Chandler. He literally had nothing, genuinely nothing on the feet. Charles was pressuring him back up against the cage, got the takedowns at will, threatening submissions. Like, we just looked so fucking good. And this was what earned us a title shot against Topuria. Like, this fight didn't make sense, like, booking wise. Like, Charles was number 2 coming off that split decision loss, and Michael Chandler was 7th. This was his first fight back after waiting for McGregor. So the standings or rankings wise, it didn't really make that much sense, but I wasn't mad at it. It's a Charles fight, and we completely dominated. That 5th round, we did get tagged, but it was after an eye poke. Chandler was cheating us. Charles went for the takedown, didn't get it, and then Chandler landed about 500 back of the headshot strikes. And this fight will forever make me hate Keith Peterson. Keith Peterson, go fuck yourself. Didn't say anything about the back of the head strikes, almost stopped the fight. Like, literally, Keith Peterson, fucking retire. Like, go fuck yourself and retire. I fucking hate you just for this performance alone. You almost cost Charles a 50-45 decision. You almost cost him the entire fight. So he ate 50 back of the headshot, still came back, still took his back. So this was an underrated performance by Charles. People like say it was boring or like they want to hate on it, but this was absolutely clinical domination. He looked great, and it set us up for a title shot. So I love this performance. Moving on, number 5, I do have the Gamrot performance. Now, this was a great, going into this, I was scared. We had just come off the Topuria loss, and it was a quick turnaround. It was a really quick turnaround. I didn't think it was a good idea for Charles to take this fight, but it was in Brazil, and this was one of my favorite walkouts ever. Charles walking out in Brazil was just amazing. His song hits every time, so the walkout was great, and he just absolutely schooled Gamrot. It wasn't even close. Start of the first round, we were just pressuring. Gamrot got a takedown, but we reversed it, had the back. And then the second round, same thing. Gamrot was landing a few little shots in here and there, but pressured him, literally lifted him up off his feet like a baby in that second round. Got the hooks in and finished him. This was amazing. Then he called Max out in the post fight. Everything about this performance was just great. An insane bounce back. This is what showed levels. This is what showed Charles is still top tier. He's still one of the greatest fighters of all time. His only losses have come to Ilya and Islam, the 2 pound for pound greats. Other than that, he doesn't lose. So first guy to finish Gamrot. Loved this performance. But going into it, I was scared, so, that I was really nervous. When that fucking walkout, I was sweating during that walkout. I was genuinely shaking because I thought we were going to lose. I didn't think we were going to lose, but I thought it would be a tough fight, but we blew through Gamrot. So this was a great performance by Charles, and it sets us up for that BMF fight in a few weeks. So great performance. Moving on. Chandler won. I was a fan of Charles at this point, but I didn't reach my top tier peak fandom. But obviously, him getting the belt, him slamming out Chandler in the second round after a tough first round getting dropped. I don't really have a lot to say about this. I wasn't like peak. Charles was one of my favorite fighters, but he wasn't like my favorite. He was at this time. I had only been watching for a few months, so McGregor was still like my guy at that point. Yes, I am a casual. McGregor was my favorite, and he got me into the UFC. But yeah, this was a great performance. I remember watching it live, and yeah, it was electric. He was crying after he won the belt. I don't really remember the walkout or like how I was feeling beforehand because it was so long ago, but yeah, I don't think I was that like nervous because I still wasn't like a huge Charles fan. My fandom for Charles really started after the Poirier win, which we're going to get into in a little bit, but yeah, this was a great performance. Charles looked good, in the first round, even though he almost got finished. Other than that, he was looking good. He did get clipped, but he got the takedown, got out of a guillotine, took Chandler's back, threatening submissions, and then obviously in the second round, left hook, beautiful KO to win us the belt. And yeah, moving on. Number 3, this is a little, controversial here, but Poirier, the Poirier fight, this was in my third spot. I remember I was a Charles fan. I watched this in the car on my phone. I remember that. And yeah, this fight really made me fall in love with Charles because he faced so much adversity in that first round, got knocked out. Everyone thought it was Poirier's time to win the belt, and we showed absolute levels. We showed that Poirier, I do fuck with Poirier too, but we were the better fighter. That second round was a little bit of a stinker. We just got the takedown, held Poirier down, but that first round was electric. It was back and forth. Charles was landing. Don't get me wrong. Charles was landing. It was an insane first round. It was one of the best first rounds ever, in my opinion. And then in the third round, got the back slickly, got the hooks in, and then submitted Dustin Poirier. I felt bad for Poirier after the fight, but, this is really what cemented, my Charles. Like, after this fight, and Charles was, easily my favorite fighter. And it's because of the comebacks. Like, obviously, in the first Chandler fight, first round didn't go his way in this fight either, so. And he got dropped in both of those, so. When he got dropped and, like, came back and won, it just fucking lit a fire under me or some shit like that, so. This is really what, started my Charles fandom, and this fight was amazing. Like, beating Poirier, this was Poirier's prime. This was genuinely the best Poirier we've ever seen, so. Yeah, submitting the prime Poirier, it was just amazing. So that is my third favorite. Now, my second favorite, this is a little controversial. It is the Dariush fight. Because of the stakes. Like, I was so nervous going into this fight. I thought the downfall was starting. I thought after the Makhachev loss, I thought we were going to go on a losing streak. Right? I wasn't feeling too confident. And then Charles was crying on the walkout, which, was a little bit concerning at the time, but looking back, he was locked in, but he was crying. I was concerned, but the crowd loved the Canadian crowd. UFC 289. This was the only good fight on the main card. So, and I remember watching this on Crack Streams. So shout out, or Stream East, or one of those things. But I didn't pay for it because it was such a dog shit card other than this fight. But yeah, I remember watching it. I remember being so nervous on the walkout. But the Canadian crowd was on his side. And then I thought Dariush was going to hold us down like Makhachev did. I thought he was going to use his grappling and like nullify us. And that's what he kind of did in the first round. Dariush was on top. But Charles was able to get up. And then, of course, head kick Dariush. and then dropped him with the right hand, ground and pound TKO. This was one of the most satisfying wins, showing that Charles is, still a top level fighter, showing that he still had it, and he didn't lose any confidence from that Makhachev fight. And although he did finish Dariush, like his striking didn't look the best in this fight, which was a little concerning. Maybe that was like something like I had to look. Like his striking didn't look the best in this fight. So going into UFC 300, I wasn't as confident, but we did finish Dariush. We slimed him out in the first round. This started Dariush's decline. So sorry, Dariush. We did have to, initiate your fucking fall off, but this was an all-time great performance. The crowd loved it. Charles was speaking English in the post-fight, which was just amazing. Good heartfelt moment. So this was easily, my second favorite Charles fight that I've ever seen. And first, if you've been watching the videos, this was the most satisfying and the best first-round performance in championship history, and one of the most exciting first-round performances in UFC championship history. Charles Oliveira submitted Justin Gaethje in a round after getting dropped twice. After facing adversity, he came back, and this was just amazing. The walkout was amazing. This was my peak. I mean, obviously, I'm a bigger Charles fan now than I was, but this was like peak when he was my favorite fighter. Like peak, like not peak, but like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I wanted Charles to win so bad. Gaethje was talking so much shit. I made a video about this. You guys know Gaethje is one of my least favorite fighters. And the hate watch was just amazing. He talked so much shit, and Charles just went out there and slimed him out. And the Arizona Athletic Commission tried to, cheat my boy, saying he was half a pound off, which was complete and utter fucking bullshit. He should have walked out with the belt that night, but it lit a fire under his ass, and he went out there and smoked Justin Gaethje, submitted him, dropped him. This was one of the most satisfying wins in UFC history for myself, and this was my favorite fight of all time. Not just my favorite Charles fight of all time. This is my favorite fight of all time. It was an exciting, crazy first round, and my boy went out there, got the submission. I was hype. I was screaming. I was fucking dancing. I was fucking crying, fucking tears of joy. I swear to God I was. And yeah, this was just amazing. Great performance. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. I love every single one of these fights, even the losses. It just shows, adversity. We've only lost to the number 1 pound for pound and the number 2 pound for pound. That Sarukian loss doesn't fucking count. We won that fight. So, we are still a top level guy. We're still in the pound for pound list, and we are going to slime out Max Holloway come March 7th. So I can't wait. We're so fucking close to beating Max Holloway. We're so close for another vintage Charles performance. And then if we win that, maybe we get a title shot, or we fight Sarukian again and finally cement that we did beat him that first time by sliming him out in the second fight. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.